We begin 6 months after previous events in France with Amicia de Rune, an experienced huntress, along with her brother, Hugo de Rune, carrier of the Prima Macula, a mysterious, ancient curse that runs in the bloodlines of certain families, which causes him great pain and sickness while allowing him to control rats which carry a plague known as the Bite, a lethal illness. The siblings are accompanied by their alchemist mother, Beatrice de Rune, and her apprentice, Lucas, all of whom are traveling together with the goal of seeking refuge amongst an organization of alchemists known as the Order. While traveling, a hostile group of beekeepers attacks the siblings after mistaking them for thieves, causing the Prima Macula to reawaken in Hugo when he summons rats to protect Amicia. After arriving at the Red City, ruled over remotely by Count Victor de Arlay along with the entire region of Provence, Magister Vaudan, an alchemist of the Order, fails in his attempts to treat Hugo, instead exacerbating his condition, resulting in the town being swarmed by rats and left in ruins. Vaudan's killed in the chaos, while the others escape on a boat bound for the Order's headquarters in Marseille. Against Beatrice's wishes to have him further treated by the Order, Amicia takes Hugo, whom she believes would only be locked up by the Order and treated as a test subject, in search of an island he has recurring dreams about, as the siblings believe it holds the cure for the macula. After leaving Beatrice and Lucas behind, the siblings are pursued by Provence soldiers along their journey, as well as mercenaries led by the disgraced knight, Arnaud Malpart, who offers to arrange transport to the island, which he identifies as being named Lacuna. Sailing to Lacuna on the ship of Arnaud's smuggler friend who owes him a favor, Sophia, the group arrives to discover that the island's residents, led by Count Victor and his wife, Countess Emily de Arlay, worship a pagan deity known as the Child of Embers. Arnaud reveals his true intent in assisting the siblings when he attempts to coerce Hugo into summoning rats to kill Victor, whom he blames for the death of his son, but Amicia intervenes, stopping Hugo and incapacitating Arnaud when he goes after Victor himself, leading to him being captured by Victor's soldiers. Amicia deduces that the child god worshipped by Victor and Emily is a previous macula carrier who once lived on Lacuna long ago. Together with Sophia, the siblings delve into an ancient order temple, following the history of the carrier, Basilius, and his protector, Aelia. Entering a chapel where Aelia was imprisoned after rebelling against the Order in an attempt to save Basilius from it, the trio encounters a cult of slavers who offer human sacrifices to the child, before forcing Amicia to battle them, eventually being overwhelmed, causing Hugo to summon rats to kill the remaining aggressors. The trio then discovered that Basilius was placed in a gigantic, elaborate, underground prison by the Order in an attempt to contain the macula, followed by Aelia escaping her own confinement, fighting her way through the prison, killing many Order members in the process, and ultimately dying just before reaching Basilius in the innermost sanctum. Without Aelia, Basilius gave in to the macula, allowing it to consume his entire body, which resulted in the unleashing of the Justinian Plague, the world's first known major pandemic. Upon discovering Basilius' remains, Amicia realizes that it was the macula itself which made Hugo dream of Lacuna, in order to lure him to its source, where it could consume Hugo and further empower itself, just before they're forced to flee the prison as it collapses under a horde of rats. Sophia goes to ready her ship for the group's escape, while the siblings return to Victor's castle in order to reunite with Beatrice and Lucas, who have followed their trail. Based on our knowledge of the relationship between Basilius and Aelia, as well as her own experience with Hugo, Amicia reasons that even without a cure, the macula will remain dormant so long as they're together in a safe environment where she can provide support and minimize stress. However, Victor reveals to Amicia that the dogma of the child is a myth he created for Emily to help her cope with the madness brought on by her abusive childhood, along with her own inability to bear children, and that Emily now believes Hugo is the child, necessitating the deaths of Amicia, Beatrice, and Lucas so that Victor and Emily can forcefully adopt Hugo as their own. Emily slits Beatrice's throat with a dagger as part of a sacrificial ritual, killing her, which causes Hugo to summon a horde of rats in a fit of extreme anger, devouring Emily, and destroying much of Lacuna. On their way to Sophia's ship, at Hugo's insistence, the siblings and Lucas rescue Arnaud from being hanged by Victor's soldiers at the gallows in the harbor square, before escaping to the sea, with Victor in pursuit, aboard his own ship. Catching up to Sophia's ship, Victor attacks and boards it with several of his soldiers, before one of his archers wounds Amicia and he captures Hugo, with the rest of the group forced overboard. Washing up on the shore outside Marseille, the group's again confronted by Victor, who arrived before them, confining Hugo within the city, and planning to raise him to serve as Victor's own weapon. Arnaud battles Victor, sacrificing himself in order to remove Victor's helmet, allowing Amicia to deliver the killing blow with a rock to the head, using her sling, before Arnaud succumbs to his own wound and dies. Amicia then frees Lucas and Sophia, but they're too late to prevent Hugo, who believes Amicia to be dead, from giving himself over to the macula, causing a massive dark cloud to blot out the sun, which allows the legion of rats to spread unchecked, destroying Marseille. Amicia delves into the ruined city, is forced to leave an injured Sophia behind at a safe location, and is separated from Lucas along the way, before the last remnant of Hugo's consciousness guides her to the location of his body, explaining to her that, having now fully merged with the macula, the only way to stop the rats and save the world is to kill him. Reuniting with Lucas at Hugo's body, within the macula's epicenter, the origin of the endless waves of countless rats, synchronized to Hugo's beating heart, Amicia is faced with the choice of either allowing Lucas to kill Hugo with her crossbow, or killing Hugo herself, using her sling, which she does. 1 year later, Amicia prepares to leave Beatrice's old mountain house, where she had planned to live with Hugo, instead now living there alone, with Lucas off continuing his alchemical studies while traveling by himself. Sophia arrives, and together they set out on a journey to trace the macula in order to find the next carrier and protect her pair so that Amicia can help guide them, as Aelia did for her and Hugo. Just before departing, Amicia pays her respects to Hugo's grave, placing a flower and feather, both things which Hugo loved, in exchange for the de Rune medallion, which she hangs around her neck. In the distant future, another child's born with signs of the macula on their skin, and this new carrier is placed under observation while connected to medical machinery.